So good morning everybody. So in this video we will discuss about the cell types and cell structure. So all of you know cell is the basic structural and functional unit of the every living organisms or living body. So in this video we will discuss the about the cell in detail. So first of all, uh, within the cell there are two types. One is prokaryotic cell, another is eukaryotic cell. So let us discuss about the differences between the prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. The most distinguishing feature in between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells are the nucleus, the presence and absence of nucleus. The prokaryotic cells, they do not contain any distinct nucleus, but in eukaryotic cell there will be a distinct nucleus in the center along with other cell organelles, right? So the most distinguishing feature, the first feature is the in prokaryotic cell there is no nucleus. In eukaryotic cell there will be a distinct nucleus with other organelles also. So the next point is no membrane enclosed organelles. The prokaryotic cells do not contain any membrane bounded organelles. The entire cell functions in every um, metabolic activities of the prokaryotic organisms. But in eukaryotic, each organelle, suborganelle, so the cell within the cell, it contains the suborganelles. Each organelles will perform different functions. So in prokaryotic cell, we do not see any membrane bounded organelles, but in eukaryotic cells, there will be membrane bounded organelles like Golgi bodies, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes. These are all membrane bounded organelles. They perform different functions. And in prokaryotic cell, there will be single chromosome. Single chromosomes can be seen in prokaryotic cells. But in eukaryotic cells, chromosomes will be in pair. Pair of chromosomes can be seen. They are called as tetrad chromosomes. No streaming in the cytoplasm, streaming in the cytoplasm. Cell division without mitosis, cell division by mitosis. So prokaryotic cells, they do not divide. They do not divide. Cells do not divide. The whole organism will divide and they multiply. But in eukaryotic organisms, the cell division takes place to give number of cells, daughter cells. And prokaryotic cells, they exhibit simple flagellas. Flagellas are the structures, they are involved in the movement of the cells, locomotion of the cells. But they contain simple flagellas for locomotion. But in eukaryotic cells, they contain complex flagellas. Smaller ribosomes in prokaryotic cell. You can see smaller ribosomes, but in eukaryotic cell, large complex ribosomes will be present. Similarly, simple cytoskeleton and complex cytoskeleton. So cytoskeleton means the cell is uh, what enclosed by a skeleton system, cell wall, cell membrane, like this. But in eukaryotic cell, there is no cytoskeleton will be seen. And in the cell wall, there is no cellulose. In prokaryotic cell wall, will be no cellulose, but in eukaryotic cell wall, there will be cellulose. So these are some of the important distinguishing features of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. So then coming to the examples. So bacteria and even some viruses, unicellular organisms, they contain prokaryotic cells. And eukaryotic, majority of all the living organisms like plants, animals, fungi, protists also, they contain eukaryotic cells. So let us discuss the uh, organelles of the cell in detail. So first of all, plasma membrane. So what is this plasma membrane? So it surrounds the cell. The cell is enclosed or bounded by this plasma membrane. It mainly protects this cell by desiccation or any harm. So it is protected by cellulose and protein cell wall in the plants. Plasma membrane, it contains cellulose and protein cell wall in plants. Then cytoplasm. Inside the plasma membrane, what you see, the granular contents, they are all cytoplasm. Within the cytoplasm, all the cell organelles will be suspended in it. It's a fluid, transparent fluid, and it contains all the cell organelles embedded in it. And the nucleus. So nucleus is one of the most important organelle in the inside the cell. It controls all the metabolic activity of the cell as well as body. So it contains DNA. DNA is responsible for carrying genetic information from one generation to another generation. So nucleus is very important organism in every cell. Then endoplasmic reticulum. This endoplasmic reticulum in the cell, it will be present in two different forms. One is rough endoplasmic reticulum, another is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum, they appear very rough in surface or rough in nature because of the presence of ribosome on its surfaces. The ribosomes are attached to their surfaces, so they appear very rough. So they mainly helpful in transport of proteins. Proteins are synthesized by this rough endoplasmic reticulums. Whereas smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they appear very smooth in nature because they do not contain any ribosomes on its surface. They helps in the synthesis and transport of lipids. Then ribosomes. Ribosomes are also one of the important cell organelle in both prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic cells. In eukaryotic cells, they are mainly attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, but in prokaryotic cell, they are freely suspended in the cytoplasm. And these ribosomes are the main site of protein synthesis, where the polypeptide chain is formed. Then Golgi apparatus. These are also called as Golgi bodies or Golgi complexes. So these contain many parts like cisternae and tubules, vesicles, vacuoles. These are all subparts of the Golgi apparatus. They mainly helpful in the synthesis of proteins. Then lysosomes. These lysosomes, they arise from the Golgi apparatus only. They contains enzymes that break down the proteins in animal cells mainly. Hmm? So next is mitochondria. So mitochondria is also called as powerhouse of this cell because it is the site for ATP synthesis, adenosine triphosphate. So it synthesizes ATP. Then flagella and cilia. These are helpful in locomotion of this cell, mainly in prokaryotic as well as in eukaryotic cell. They helps in locomotion, movement of the cell. And microtubules and microfilaments. These are also the structural components of the eukaryotic cells. They are also present in eukaryotic cells. Then vacuoles. So vacuoles in plant cell, mainly especially in plant cell, it contains a large vacuole. In animal cells also there will be vacuole, but smaller in size. But in plant cell, the majority of the space is occupied by this vacuole. So what they do, it contains enzymes and pigments, chlorophyll pigments in plants. Whereas in enzymes also suspended in the vacuoles. Then chloroplast. Chloroplast, it is the green photosynthetic pigment which help to trap the sunlight and convert it into useful energy. It will convert the sun energy, light energy into chemical energy. So it is a pigment, photosynthetic pigment. So finally, coming to the comparison of plant cells and animal cells. Plant cells, they have large central vacuole. As I already told you, plant cells have a large vacuole, large central vacuole, and other organelles are smaller in size. But in animal cells, they also contain vacuoles, but their vacuoles are very smaller in size. Then in plant cell we can able to see chloroplast, photosynthetic pigment, because plants are autotrophic. They prepare their own food by the help of process of photosynthesis. They will trap the sunlight and convert it into chemical energy. But in animal cells, they are not autotrophic, they are heterotropic. They depend on other organisms for food. So they do not contain any chloroplast or any pigments in the cell. And plant cells, they have rigid cell wall outside of the cell membrane, but animal cells, they do not contain any rigid cell wall. So these are some of the important features of the cell. Thank you.